What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Russ from the Risen Russ Experience. I'm checking in to give my thoughts on the 2017 NFL season, and on this part, we are going to discuss the NFC. Now, the division, we are going to start with the NFC West, and in the NFC West, we have the 49ers, Rams, Cardinals, and Seahawks. And let's start with the 49ers. 49ers are bad. You know, the 49ers not too long ago were Super Bowl, where they lost against the Ravens. They lost in the NFC Championship against the Seahawks that next year. But this team right now is bad. They're trying to rebuild. They got Brian Hoyer starting. Is going to be the starting quarterback. That right there tells you that your team more than likely is going to be shitty. They'll probably be bad enough where they can probably draft high and get a quarterback next year. So I'm thinking that's what their plan is for next year. So, yeah, 49ers, they're not going to be good next year. Let's go to the Los Angeles Rams. Well, the Los Angeles Rams, they have their quarterback in the future, and that's Jared Goff. But there's been mixed reviews on Jared Goff. I know he came in late in the year last year because Case Keenum started. So, we can get a full year to see what he can do. I haven't seen too much of Jared Goff, so I don't really have that much of an opinion. I would like to see a full season of him to see if he can lead the Rams out of their horrible ways, because it's been a long time since the Rams have been good, though. So to me, that is really square on the shoulders of Jared Goff. And also, Aaron Donald, one of the best defensive linemen in the NFL, he sat out all of training camp, all of preseason, and we're not sure if he's going to be out there week one. I know he wants the contract extensions, but he's been pretty adamant that he's not going to go out there and play football until he gets his contract extension. And if they're going to compete, he's got to be out there. So that's definitely something to keep your eyes on. Moving forward, we have the Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals, just a couple years ago, was in the NFC Championship game. They missed the playoffs last year. They still have good defensive players. They still have Tyrann Mathieu. They still have Patrick Peterson. I think Calais Campbell went over to Jacksonville, so they lost that. Question for the Cardinals is, how much does Carson Palmer have left? I mean, Carson Palmer's been playing for a long time. He's not getting any younger. I think after the year they lost in the championship game, I thought that was it for him as far as getting any top tier production out of him. I believe the Cardinals, I think they're going to have to start looking to the quarterback of the future. He could have a decent year, I guess, if he's protected, but it's about time for Carson Palmer, because I think that his time's about done. So Cardinals are going to have to start looking for the quarterback of the future. And rounding out the division, we have the Seattle Seahawks. They're the class of the division. I doubt I would get too much pushback on that. Russell Wilson, he's a solid quarterback. I think he's improved each year. Their defense is still top notch. They who did they add? I believe they added Sheldon Richardson from the Jets last year, so that helps. That could only improve an already strong defensive line. I think they're going to be solid defensively once again. Their question to me is their skill position. Their skill position, such as the wide receivers. And to me, all they have is really Doug Baldwin. I know they got Jimmy Graham. I'm not high on Jimmy Graham. I know Jimmy Graham can make spectacular plays a lot, but I also think he's soft. And that's just someone, me personally, I can't rely on Jimmy Graham. The Seahawks last year had struggled a lot with their offensive line. So if they can be better on the offensive line, they should compete again. I mean, I think they should go deep into the playoffs if they can shore up that offensive line, because it was pretty bad towards the end of last year. Switching divisions, let's go to the NFC South. Let's start with the New Orleans Saints. All I can say about the Saints is they still have Drew Brees. Drew Brees is still putting up numbers. He's a Hall of Fame player. But once you get past Drew Brees, you don't have much. I know they signed Adrian Peterson to be the running back. I mean, okay, I think AP's about finished. I mean, if they can get any production out of him, between him and Mark Ingram, I guess that's okay. But I mean, I think it's a wrap for Adrian Peterson. The one thing the Saints have not had and really never had, except the year they went to the Super Bowl when it was respectable, is they just don't have a good defense. Year in and year out, Sean Payton and the boys are always fielding a shitty defense. And that's the reason why, I believe that's the reason why the Saints haven't competed more, because they don't have a defense. Drew Brees can put up 30 points, but they're going to give up 35. What's that going to get you? So, to me, they've wasted a lot of good years of Drew Brees, and I don't think they're ever going to start being better again until they improve that defense. Moving on, let's go to the Carolina Panthers. They went to the Super Bowl 2 years ago. They lost to the Broncos. They missed the playoffs last year. A lot of injuries occurred with them. Cam Newton was not healthy. The things that broke their way in the 2015 season did not break their way in the 2016 season. So, is Cam healthy? We have to see. That defense, I'm not sure. I think it's definitely on the downside. I know they added Julius Peppers in the offseason, probably just to sign him out of goodwill, and he can retire as a Panther. But I mean, I think we all know Julius Peppers on the downside of his career, so I'm not sure about the Panthers. To me, it's all dependent on Cam Newton. We will have to see. To me, it's 50-50 with them. I mean, I think he's capable of having a good year, but he's also capable of having a subpar year. So we'll have to see how Cam bounces back this year. Tampa Bay, this is a team that I really like. I'm really a fan of Jameis Winston. I think Jameis Winston really could be a top-tier quarterback in this league if he improves. They added Deshaun Jackson to the receiving corps. They already got the beast in Mike Evans. They drafted O.J. Howard from Alabama. I think they're stacked offensively. I think they should be putting up points this year. Defensively, they should be better. I think they already have Gerald McCoy. I think they got good linebackers. They added T.J. Ward, which is definitely an improvement. If you can get bum ass Chris Conte out of there and put T.J. Ward, a Super Bowl winning safety, that's a good thing. So I think the Buccaneers are going to be competing for a playoff spot this year. And rounding out the division is the defending NFC champion Atlanta Falcons. This is going to be it's definitely going to be interesting to see how Atlanta bounces back after blowing that Super Bowl last year. I mean, to be up 23, fumbling over my words, to be up 28-3 and not to win the Super Bowl, yeah, that might be a tough one to recover from. So we'll definitely have to see in the early games to see how they bounce back from that, because I think that's something that's going to be in the back of their head for most of the year. As far as what they got on the field, I mean, they got a top-tier offense. Matt Ryan's a good quarterback. They got the best wide receiver in the game in Julio Jones. They got a good running back in Devontae Freeman. They don't really have a lot of they don't got a lot of flaws offensively. Defensively, they played better last year. The defense failed them in the Super Bowl with Tom Brady, so they've got some players as well on the defensive end. So we'll just have to see. I think the main key with Atlanta is to see how they bounce back. I think it's a mental thing. I think they got the players. I think it's just a mental thing of just blowing that Super Bowl. We'll just have to see if it lingers. Switching divisions, let's go to the NFC North. And let's start with the Detroit Lions. Matthew Stafford is the highest paid quarterback. I find that kind of interesting, though. But, I mean, hey, that's just the going rate for quarterbacks. Stafford's a solid quarterback. I don't know if he'll ever win you a Super Bowl. But, I mean, for a long time, the Lions never had a quarterback. So, Stafford's he's a steady. He's steady. I think, and that's definitely not a slight. I think that's positive, though. Would I pay him that much? No, but it's not my money, though. But I would say he deserves an extension. He's a solid quarterback, though. But As far as the Lions, I don't expect much from this year. Their defense is still shitty. They still don't have a running game. I think when they went to the playoffs last year, there was a lot of smoke and mirrors. So I don't expect much from Detroit. Moving on to the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota started out 5-0 last year and missed the playoffs. But with that said, last year they had a lot of injuries come about, especially to that offensive line. That offensive line was decimated last year, and they really never could ever rebound from that. As far as the quarterback situation, Sam Bradford, he's okay. Teddy Bridgewater has not recovered from that severe leg injury from last year. Bradford's okay. They did draft Delvin Cook. I like him, so I think that will help them, though. They got good defensive talent, the Vikings do, as far as, Anthony Barr, Harrison Smith. They got guys that are good. We'll have to... I'm not sure with the Vikings. I can say I'm not sure. I think they could be competing for a playoff spot, and I can easily see them going 7-9. It all depends. I'm kind of struggling to see where they go, but yeah, we'll have to see with the Vikings. And moving forward, we have the Chicago Bears. Personally, my favorite football team. The team that has given me gray hairs, even though I don't have any, but they should, because the way how they piss me off and stress me out. The Bears are finally moving on from Jay Cutler. They have Mike Glennon. They drafted the quarterback of the future, Mitch Trubisky. They're going to be going out there with Mike Glennon. Let me just say this as a Bears fan. I'm going to give you some quick analysis here. Mike Glennon he's out here this year. He's really auditioning for another team because they got Mitch Trubisky. So Mike Glennon is basically auditioning for his new team next year probably. Do I think Mike Glennon is any good? Absolutely fucking not. But he has been in the league for a while. You have to have somebody start. They don't want Trubisky to start. Me personally, I would have loved to see Trubisky start, but he has nothing to throw to out there. The Bears probably have the worst wide receiving core in the league, so I don't want him put out there. The Bears, the only good offensive weapon that they do have is Jordan Howard. They drafted Kevin White a couple years ago. He's just been injured the past 2 years, so we're really not sure what he can do. The Bears are going to be a shitty offense, and I'd rather have Mike Glennon suffer under that shitty offense than Mitch Trubisky. Defensively, the Bears are going to be a well improved team defensively. I'm starting to see that they have finally made that. The Bears haven't had a good defense since Lovie Smith this year when they had Briggs and Urlacher, but they've got some good players up front. They've got Leonard Floyd, Akeem Hicks. Their front seven is going to be a lot better. Secondary still shitty. But the Bears, they're still rebuilding. It's going to be another rough year for me, unfortunately. And rounding out the NFC North, we have the Green Bay Packers, the team I hate the most, but I got the utmost respect for them because they do it every year. They're always in it. They always got a good team. It helps that they got the second best quarterback in the game in Aaron Rodgers. There are a lot of teams picked to win the NFC and go to the Super Bowl. I'm a little hesitant on that, only on the strength of their defense, because their defense was bad towards the end of last year. You saw what happened in the NFC Championship and what the Falcons did to them. So the Packers' Super Bowl hopes, to me, lie on their defense, because Aaron Rodgers is going to do what he has to do for the offense, but it's that defense that's gonna have to catch up to the offense, and if they can't, they're gonna be exiting out the playoffs once again. And Aaron Rodgers is not getting younger, so it's just one more year of getting older that he's not in another Super Bowl. And rounding out the NFC, we will go to the NFC East, and we have the Cowboys, Redskins, Eagles, and Giants. And let's start with the New York Giants. The Giants. Well, we know Eli's a two-time Super Bowl winning quarterback, but Eli, he's on the downside of his career. He was okay last year, but it's going to be a point where it's time for the Giants to start looking for the quarterback of the future. But I mean, he's still good. I mean, he's still good enough to keep you in contention, though. But I think time's ticking. Time's a ticking on Eli. He's got Odell Beckham, top tier wide receiver. They ended Brandon Marshall in the offseason. We'll see how that works out because I know how Brandon Marshall operates. So don't be surprised if you see him towards the end of the year start bitching and moaning and complaining about some random shit. That's just what he does. I'm letting all the Riz and Russ experience fans know. Watch out for Brandon Marshall complaining towards the offseason because he always does it. Trust me, I know. But Giants got a good defense. I love Landon Collins. They're going to be solid defensively. Offensively, they don't have a run game. And we got to see with Eli. You just don't know with Eli. So Giants are definitely a wild card. A wild card team to me. Moving on, Washington Redskins. I'll tell you what, the Redskins have not done Kirk Cousins. Redskins have not done Kirk Cousins any favors in the offseason because he lost a lot of his skill position talent in the offseason. Deshaun Jackson, he left. Pierre Garçon left. I mean, you still have Jordan Reed, but Jordan Reed's been struggling with injury. So, and Cousins didn't sign a long-term deal. So we're really not even sure if Cousins is going to be with the Redskins going forward. I honestly think this is probably going to be his last year, though. I think he's going to probably go to San Francisco for the 2018 season. But yeah, the Redskins, yeah, I'm not a big fan of Kirk Cousins, but I mean, he's for the most part he's been solid though. But they haven't really done anything for him, so. To me, I think the Redskins are probably just an average football team. Moving forward, Philadelphia Eagles. This is a team that I believe is on the upswing. I think Carson Wentz is going to be a really, really good quarterback. I really like what I've seen from him. They did him a solid getting him Alshon Jeffrey in the offseason from the Bears. They definitely needed a big time wide receiver, which when Alshon's healthy, he is a very good wide receiver though. That's just his only issue. That's the only reason why he's still not on my Bears because he struggles with his health. If he can stay healthy, I think the Eagles got a good chance of winning this division. I really like the Eagles. I think they're solid defensively. I do like what they have on defense. So definitely look out for the Eagles. I like what I see from the Eagles. And lastly, the most popular team in America, they say the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys had a really, really good season last year. I mean, no one really expected that. Two rookies balled out for him, Dak and Zeke. He went 13-3. Went home in the playoffs early, as usual. That Riz would say. And just on a side note, you want to hear anything funny? Listen to Riz talk about the Cowboys. That's some funny ass shit. The way he talks about it. Now he's an Eagles fan, so it's already in his blood not to like the Cowboys. But just listen to him talk about the Cowboys. That's some funny shit though. But back to the Dallas Cowboys. They got the best offensive line in the game. I mean, as long as they stay healthy, they're always going to be able to control. They're always going to be able to control the line of scrimmage, and dictate the pace of the game. Their Achilles heel is that shitty ass defense, and I would advise you to look at that. Rewatch that playoff game against the Packers last year. I mean, the way Aaron Rodgers was getting off some of these throws was, amazing. Now, we know Aaron Rodgers is an amazing quarterback, but the time that he had and guys just getting open, it's because that secondary is trash. The Cowboys' defense is just so bad, and I don't think they can repeat the season they had last year because you can't keep going to the seasons with a piss-poor defense that they have, so I think they're going to take a step back this year. I know Zeke's got his whole legal thing going on, so we don't know about that. He may be missing time. We're not sure. I think Dak's okay. I think Dak. I don't know if he'll be as good as he was last year, but I don't think he'll take a significant drop though. So, but yeah, I think the Cowboys will be okay, but I don't expect a 13-3 season out of them. So, yeah. So we'll just have to see. They got a lot of things that they have to handle. It's kind of tough for me to predict when they got a guy like Zeke could be possibly suspended, and they already got guys that are suspended due to off the field issues. So, yeah, I expect them to take a little dip this year. But that is it for my 2017 NFL preview for the NFC. I appreciate you guys' time. Once again, subscribe to the YouTube page and subscribe to the SoundCloud page at Risen Russ Experience. So you guys have a great rest of the day. I appreciate you guys' time. Peace out.